Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar and workshop series conducted by TCS in lieu of the upcoming SCS exams happening in May 2024. My name is Nick and I'm the lead tutor and evaluator for SCS at TCS. So let's look at the session outcomes. First things first, I'm gonna take you through the examiner's comments because it's of utmost importance that you understand what's expected from you when preparing in the upcoming 4 to 5 weeks at your disposal. And on top of that, in the second part of today's session, I will be sharing some tips with you, which will ensure that you develop a positive attitude and you start believing in your skill set. If so, you are in a position to easily pass the SCS exam. Okay, so before we get into the technicalities, let me quickly remind you about the upcoming workshops which we have scheduled for you. So we are already done with the webinar series after today's session. So then we will be kickstarting the workshop series from the next week onwards. So on the 28th of April, the first workshop is happening at 9 GMT or 10 AM UK. So in this workshop, I will be taking you through one of the mock exams covering a certain syllabus area, just like what I've done in the third webinar. Whilst teaching you answering and time management techniques, I took you through a mock exam which we have developed and shared with you. So likewise, I'll be adhering to a similar methodology when taking you through questions and answers pertinent to certain elements covered within one of the mock exams. And on top of that, within the same session, same workshop, I will be opening up for a Q&A session so that if you have any questions or concerns, you can raise these questions and get them addressed then and there. So that's what's happening in the first two workshops. And in the third and final workshop, which is happening 2 or 3 days before your exam, I will be sharing with you last minute tips to ensure that you walk into your exam with a positive mindset. Okay, so let's look at examiner's comments. So if you are to develop good answers, you are supposed to understand the requirement clearly. So that's exactly what I highlighted within the third webinar. Before you develop each of your answer plans, it's of utmost importance that you understand the requirement. If you misunderstand the requirement, your answers will not carry full marks. Okay, so it's best that you spend some time to understand the requirement. And with this in mind, I mentioned in the third webinar that you are expected to reiterate each requirement in your own words in a concise form. So usually, 2 or 3 students have already submitted their first 2 mock exams. And if you are one of these students, congratulations, you are sticking to the study plan which we have provided. And when developing the answer plans, you would have understood how serious it is when it comes to understanding the requirement. So in order to better understand the requirement, which usually goes on for 2 or 3 lines, if you had gone through the mock exams, you know what I'm talking about. The requirements are quite long at the SCS exam, but in order to make your life easy, what you are expected to do is you are expected to reiterate the requirement in your own words in a concise or simpler form. If so, it will be extremely beneficial for you when developing the answer plans. You stand a chance to understand the exact requirement, and when developing the answer plan, at all times, you can refer back to the requirement which you have reiterated in your own words in a simpler form to see whether you are headed in the correct direction. So in order to fulfill the first requirement when developing a good answer, which is to understand the requirement clearly, reiterate each requirement in your own terms in a concise form, then you will develop answers which are totally relevant to the requirement at hand. And when developing your answers, as per the CIMA examiner, you are expected to show to the marker that you possess an appropriate level of technical knowledge, as well as you have the capability to apply this knowledge considering the information presented in each scenario. So at the exam, you are expected to play the role of a senior finance manager. So as a senior finance manager, if you come up with highly theoretical answers, you are not going to get full marks because you are reporting to your CFO or some other board member. So just try to think a scenario or create a scenario in your mind where you are actually playing the role of a senior finance manager. So if you're actually a senior finance manager, whenever you receive an email from your superior, you will not focus on elaborating theory. Instead, you will always try to come up with answers considering what's highlighted within each and every email. So when developing your answers, you have to make sure that you cover all the elements which are highlighted within each scenario. And in order to ensure that you come up with the best type of answers, you need to utilize your theoretical knowledge. So in order to get these two elements right, you need to get your answering technique right. So when you are spending some time to develop your answer plan, as per what I highlighted in the third webinar, you are expected to spend something like 25 to 30 minutes to develop an answer plan per task. So when spending this amount of time, you are expected to, think how your theoretical knowledge can be brought in and included within the answer plan with the intention of significantly improving the quality of your answer. So if you are bringing in theoretical knowledge, then you are bringing in quality to your answer, and just coming up with theories won't help. You need to make sure that you apply these theoretical concepts to the information which is presented in each and every scenario. And when developing answers, you are expected to come up with or develop well-structured answers. So that's exactly why I want you guys to keep practicing your answering technique, because according to it, you are supposed to spend some time to structure your answer appropriately. So if you are in a position to structure your answer, you are spending some time to determine whether you have developed an answer which is totally aligned with the requirement. You are spending some time to think what type of relevant theoretical knowledge can be brought in, thereby focusing on application skills. And on top of that, you are spending some time to think what type of relevant information should be brought in and included from the pre-scene with the intention of further increasing the value of your answer. So in order to get all these elements right, you need to focus on your answering technique. Just because you know your answering technique, you are not in a position to implement it in a practical sense. Those who had already attempted the first two mocks know what I'm talking about. When conducting my weekly roundup, when getting in touch with the students who had invested on our paid content, I got feedback from them, and they said that they ran out of time when they were trying to implement the answering technique. That's totally fine. That's because you are trying to do something new for the first time. But with practice, you will get a hang of the answering technique. You will never run out of time at your real exam. So focus on practicing these techniques, answering technique. If so, you are adhering to the guidelines provided by the CIMA examiner. Okay, and when developing answers, you are supposed to provide answers in paragraphs. So I highlighted this element in the third webinar. Again, based on the number of points which appear within each answer plan, you are supposed to come up with paragraphs. So if there are 7 valid points highlighted within a certain answer plan, then you need to have 7 paragraphs of answers. And I said that I expect you guys not to write the entire answer within one single paragraph. It's best to be in the good books of the marker. So fraction out your answer per answer point, come up with a separate paragraph which goes on to 2 to 3 sentences. Okay, so if there are 7 valid points within your answer plan, you need to have 7 different paragraphs within your fully fledged answer or your extended answer. And whenever you are bringing in some type of an argument, you need to back it up with appropriate justifications. So as a senior finance manager, you are expected to recommend certain things to your board members. So whenever you are providing some type of a recommendation, or whenever you are building some type of an argument, always remember to back it up with appropriate justification. So when working on justification, consider the information provided in each scenario and consider the knowledge which you have gained by going through your pre-scene document. Okay, so if you are to, all in all, in a nutshell, if you are to develop good answers, you need to first understand the requirement clearly. And when developing answers, you need to show that you possess an appropriate level of technical knowledge and you have the capability to apply these theoretical concepts when developing your answers. And on top of that, you need to spend some time to structure your answers appropriately. And once the answer structures or the answer plans are done, you need to expand your answer structures or your answer plans in paragraph form. And whenever you are providing an argument or recommendation, you have to back it up with appropriate justification. If you fulfill all these elements, you will come up with good answers. And what are you expected to do before the exam? So as per the CIMA examiner, you are expected to study all areas of the syllabus. So each syllabus area, which is covered under E3, P3, and F3 syllabi, will be tested at your SCS exam. Most students are totally conversant with what's covered within the E3 syllabus, especially given the fact that it has the E3 syllabus has everything to do with strategy development, understanding the business environment and whatnot. So all these elements are quite simple. Even if you're coming through an exemption route, you would have studied these elements. So because of that, you would be totally conversant with what's covered within E3. But if you look at what's highlighted under the P3 and F3 syllabi, most students have gaps pertaining to these areas. So rather than spending a lot of time to go through these syllabus areas, refer to your study notes or refer to a study text and learn, rather than trying to learn theory on your own, you don't have too much time at your disposal. You have something like just 4 weeks until your exam. So because of that, totally rely on the master classes which we have developed, because we have developed these master classes which are 100% aligned with the mock exams which we have developed. So when developing these mock exams, we have made sure to cover the entire syllabus so that you are conversant about how each theoretical element covered under E3, P3, and F3 syllabi is tested at your SCS exam. So you need to, in order to improve your theoretical knowledge, simply attempt the 5 mock exams, then watch the master classes. Then you can easily learn theory as well as at the same time improve your application skills. So you are expected to study all areas of the syllabus. So with this in mind, attempt the 5 mock exams which we have developed and watch all 15 master classes. Then you will learn theory and at the same time significantly improve your application skills. And when developing answers, you need to focus on your application. That's exactly why I said, in order to learn application, you need to attempt the mock exams. And after attempting each mock exam, watch the master classes. The objective of developing these master classes is to ensure that you understand the logic behind each answer. At the same time, we have made sure to teach you theory and highlight application. So if you get all these elements right, then you can easily pass your SCS exam. So with the intention of studying all areas of the syllabus and focusing on application, simply watch the master classes. Then you are expected to practice tasks under exam conditions, and when practicing tasks, you are expected to type or write full answers. So what are full answers? These are this is a situation where you are expected to sit in one place and attempt 3 full tasks within 3 hours at a stretch. So I've seen so many tutors out there asking students to attempt mock exams, or when practicing mock exams, they ask students to practice mocks on a task by task basis. So therefore, you might attempt the first task today, the second task tomorrow, and the third task day after tomorrow. But at your real exam, you are expected to sit in one place and attempt 3 tasks at a stretch within 3 hours. So when attempting each of your mock exams or when practicing your mock exams, it's of utmost importance that you attempt each mock exam under exam conditions, because take it from me, it's not too easy to sit in one place and be exposed to exam stress 3 hours at a stretch. So within the first 1.5 hours, you'd be totally fine. But from the second task onwards, you will experience fatigue. When you are experiencing fatigue, your brain will ask you to, finish off the exam as fast as possible. because our attention span as human beings is just 45 minutes. After, the first 45 minutes are done, when you are trying to do the same thing over and over again, especially when you are under exam stress, you will experience extreme levels of fatigue, and with that, you will try to come up with rushed answers. Okay, so you need to make sure that you have the capabilities to manage how your brain functions. So in order to get accustomed to all these type of exam stressors, it's best that you practice each mock exam under exam conditions, thereby attempting 3 tasks at a stretch, allocating 3 hours of your time, because that's exactly what you'd do at your real exam. So you are expected to type or write full answers. Full answers, what does it mean? Full 3-hour papers. So rather than attempting mock exams on a task by task basis, you need to attempt all 3 tasks within 3 hours, thereby getting exposed to exam conditions. If you do so, you have the chance of practicing your answering and time management techniques again under exam conditions. So that's the best way to prepare for your examination. If not, you will be fooling yourself, because it's easy to attempt each mock exam on a task by task basis. After each task, it's easy for you to take a break. However, at the exam, you are not expected to do it. So it's best to practice under exam conditions. So I'm not asking you to do it. It's the CIMA examiner who's asking you to practice full mock exams before your exam. And during the exam, what are you expected to do? You are supposed to spend some time to plan your answers. So that's exactly why I'm asking you to practice answering technique. If you keep practicing answering technique, you will significantly improve the quality of your answers. And at the same time, you will stand a chance to manage your time appropriately. So if you manage your time, that's as if you have gained 20 marks at your examination. Because if you run out of time, if you provide half-hearted answers or incomplete answers, chances of you passing the SCS exam is extremely low. So during the exam, you need to implement the answering technique which you have practiced when attempting the 5 mock exams. And as per the CIMA examiner, the marker is under strict instructions to mark answers on their merits. So the marker is picking quality over quantity. So I've seen tutors out there stipulating a word limit based on the mark allocations. That's not how things work at the SCS exam. The examiner is not, or the marker is not actually concerned about the length of your answer. Instead, the marker is concerned about the quality. So that's exactly why you need to spend some time to develop something called answer plans, or structure your answer appropriately. Spend some time to think, and once you know what you are expected to type, then when it comes to expanding your answer plan, your life becomes extremely easy. You are not multitasking. Instead, you are spending some time separately to plan out your answer. And once you have a plan, you are spending time to type out your answer plan, or type out your fully fledged answer, or expand your answer plan. So get your focus on your quality, on the quality of your answers, not on the length of your answer, because there's absolutely no point of focusing on a length. This is not an academic qualification. This is a professional qualification. Your CFO is not concerned about the length of your email. Instead, the CFO is trying to figure out whether you have provided appropriate arguments, or conducted evaluations, or provided recommendations, so that their life, the CFO's life becomes easy when dealing with the other board members. Okay, so that's what the examiner is telling us. And talking further about the marking criteria, 2 markers will allocate marks before the final mark is finalized. This is done with the intention of ensuring that your marking happens in a transparent manner. So 2 markers will allocate marks, and the final mark which you'd receive is actually the average of the marks allocated by these 2 markers. And mark allocation for each subtask appears as a percentage under each requirement. Again, I highlighted these elements in the 3rd webinar, answering technique. If you missed out on it, please watch the recorded version. It's of utmost importance that you gain an understanding about the answering and time management technique, because especially because the examiner is asking you to practice answer planning and implement the same type of answer plans when attempting your real exam. Okay, so when it comes to developing your answer plans, you are expected to understand how many answer points need to appear within each and every subtask. So in order to understand that, I said you are expected to determine the mark allocations for each subtask based on the weightages provided. If you have started attempting mock exams, you know what I'm talking about. Each subtask carries a certain weightage, and this weightage gives us an indication about the mark allocations. So for instance, if based on the weightage provided, if 12 marks are allocated for a certain subtask, since each valid point carries 2 to 3 marks, in order to gain 12 marks, you need to come up with 4 to 6 valid points for a subtask which carries 12 marks. So likewise, based on the weightages, you are expected to determine the mark allocations, and when you are conversant with the mark allocations, you can easily determine the number of points which need to appear within each and every subtask. When you know this, when you come up with the appropriate number of answer points, you are focusing on the quality of your answer, which is totally aligned with the mark allocations. So you will not come up with answers which are too short or too long. Instead, you would come up with answers which are precisely tailored to the mark allocations, concerning each and every subtask. And the mark allocations are based on merit. So as I mentioned earlier, the marker picks quality over quantity. All right. So having said that, before we move on to the second part of today's webinar, let me quickly mention what we offer at TCS. So I'm on the SCS page. If you are yet to check the free content, simply click on this button and gain access to a free account. And via this free account, you have the option or the opportunity to access our student dashboard. And via the student dashboard, you will have access to the recorded versions of the webinars and workshops which we conduct on a weekly basis. You will also have access to a free mock exam, a full 3-hour mock, its suggested answer, and the answer plan. Also, you will also have access to the exam platform which we have developed for the SCS exam. So you can attempt this free mock under exam conditions via the exam platform free of charge. So we have given you the opportunity to practice answering and time management techniques when attempting the free mock. At the same time, when you are attempting this free mock via the exam platform, you will gain an exposure to the type of exam stresses you face at your real exam. So in order to access this mock exam via our exam platform, simply click on Access Dashboard, then go to My Courses, then go to SCS Free and click on Access Content. And you'd have 4 tabs. So you'd have access to videos, study material, mocks. The free mock is there. Click on it to access the question, which will be loaded within the system itself, as well as the answer. And go to the exams tab and click on SCS Free to start your mock exam or to attempt the SCS Free mock under exam conditions. Okay, so that's what you'd get your hands on under the SCS Free content. Let me go back to the SCS page. And if you are interested in investing on our paid content, click on this button and see what type of services we offer so that you gain a good understanding about what you're getting your hands on under the paid content. And if you're yet to join our SCS WhatsApp discussion forum, click on this button and join it, because via this forum, we are keeping you guys informed about the weekly webinars and workshops. And on top of that, we are sharing certain additional free content with you. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can raise these concerns within this WhatsApp group, and I'm always there to help you guys out. And talking about the 2 packages which we offer offer 2 main packages, the value pack and the premium package. The value pack is designed for students who are coming through the CIMA general route. If so, you would have completed your E3, P3 and F3 syllabi. And on top of that, you would have already completed your OCS and MCS exams. So if you are such a student, you have learned theory. So because of that, you need not spend a lot of time to learn theory. Instead, you just need to focus on improving your application skills. So under the value pack, you will gain access to the recordings of all webinars and workshops which we conduct on a weekly basis. You will also gain access to 5 mock exams with their suggested answers. So when developing these 5 mock exams, as I mentioned earlier, we have made sure to cover the entire syllabus so that you are conversant about how each syllabus area will be tested at your SCS exam. And you will also gain access to pre-scene analysis videos, 3 videos in total. Your pre-scene document is divided into 3 main parts, and focused on each part, we have developed a set of pre-scene analysis videos with the intention of ensuring that you gain a good understanding about the internal dynamics as well as the external dynamics of Saefwell, and you gain an understanding about the financial standing about of the company. And you will also gain access to the annotated pre-scene, the industry analysis and financial analysis slides. So let me quickly show you what this material look like. So as you can see, this is the annotated pre-scene. We have come up with tutor notations with the intention of summarizing the entire pre-scene. We have taken out the most important points and come up with a good summary so that it makes your life easy when going through this document. And on top of that, we have also highlighted probable areas which can be tested, syllabus areas which can be tested at your exam based on the hints provided by the CIMA examiner. And on top of that, we have also explained, probable scenarios which can be thrown at you at your real exam. So if you gain access to this annotated pre-scene, you can easily understand what's highlighted within the pre-scene document. Then looking at the financial analysis slides, this consists of the information pertaining to the financial statements which appear at the very end of your pre-scene document. So again, we have evaluated each financial statement and we have kept things simple so that you can easily read through these annotations and understand what happens within your chosen company in a financial sense. So all financial statements have been evaluated in depth, and at the end, a ratio analysis has also been conducted, and each ratio, again, we have evaluated them in depth, yet we have kept things simple so that you can easily understand what happens within your chosen company. And you will also gain access to the industry analysis slides under the value pack. So the industry analysis slides are divided into 4 main elements. First things first, we have started by defining what your industry is all about, with the intention of ensuring you gain a good understanding about your chosen industry. And we have also highlighted information pertaining to the competitive landscape and industry trends, because based on this information, you can determine or predict the type of scenarios which can be thrown at you at your real exam. And at the very end, real world examples considering to real life companies are provided so that you get a better understanding about how the real life industry works, which is going to be extremely beneficial for you when conducting your preparations. So you need not conduct your own research focused on the industry. Simply refer to this set of slides and watch the one of the pre-scene analysis sessions so that you gain an appropriate level of knowledge about your chosen industry. So that's what the type of material you'd get your hands on under the value pack. And you'd also gain access to top 20 likely issue slides, which indicate the type of scenarios which can be thrown at you at your real exam. You'd also gain access to a case study familiarization kit, access to a tutor managed live chat, and OTQ revision cards. So if you opt for the value pack, since you have already learned theory when preparing for your OTQ exams, as I mentioned earlier, you just need to focus on your application. So you have to attempt these mock exams on your own. So after attempting each mock exam, if you feel that you cannot remember a certain syllabus area, or if you feel that you need to brush up your knowledge concerning a certain theoretical concept, simply refer to the OTQ revision cards so that you can easily brush up your knowledge within a short period of time. And the value pack is priced at £249. And talking about the premium package, this is designed for students who are coming through the exemption routes and for those who had failed their SCS exam previously. So both these sets of students have the same problem, which is with regards to gaps in theoretical knowledge and a lack of application skills. So with the intention of ensuring that you learn theory and improve your application skills, we have developed the premium package. So the premium package comes with everything what's covered under the value pack. Additionally, you'd gain access to the online mock exam platform via which you can attempt all 5 mock exams under exam conditions. So as I mentioned earlier, the examiner has highlighted the importance of attempting each of your mock exams under exam conditions. The examiner wants you to attempt full mock exams, allocating 3 hours of your time. So you have the chance of gaining an exposure to exam conditions when you attempt all of our 5 mock exams via the exam platform. You'd be exposed to exam stress. It's best to gain an exposure to exam stress before the exam rather than at your real exam. And on top of that, you have the opportunity to practice the answering and time management techniques over and over when attempting each of the 5 mock exams. And you will also gain access to one-on-one tutor feedback on mocks 3, 4, and 5. So the first 2 mocks are there to get your bearings with the answering and time management technique, because as I mentioned earlier, you need some practice to get it right. And from mock 3 onwards, when you are conversant with your answering and time management techniques, from mock 3 onwards, you are getting tutor feedback. And this is the type of tutor feedback you'd receive at TCS. As you can see, each paragraph has been evaluated in depth with the intention of ensuring that you really understand what your shortcomings are. So throughout this answer script, that's exactly what you can see. And we come up with tutor notes if major concerns are there. And so this is the type of feedback which we provide at TCS. And at the very end, mark allocations are provided on a subtask by subtask basis. And we have also come up with a success rate, again on a subtask by subtask basis. And the success rate indicates the subtasks in which your performance was substandard. So after receiving tutor feedback, rather than reattempting the entire mock, allocating 3 hours of your time, you are simply expected to redevelop answer plans focused on the subtasks which are highlighted in yellow. So as per the CIMA examiner, you need to focus on your answering technique, or you need to spend some time to plan out your answers. So after receiving tutor feedback, you'd understand the subtasks where your answering technique was wrong or inappropriate. So in such an environment, in order to improve your skill set, in order to overcome your shortcomings, you need to spend some time to redevelop answer plans for each subtask. So rather than redeveloping answer plans focused on the entire paper, simply focus on the areas which are highlighted in yellow. So this is the smartest type of revision you have to be involved with when dealing with the SCS exam, because you just have 4 weeks at your disposal. And at the very end, general comments are also provided to make sure that you better understand your shortcomings and work towards overcoming each of your shortcomings. And you will also gain access to answer plans of all 5 mock exams. So these are the type of answer plans you'd get your hands on. I said that it's of utmost importance that you reiterate each requirement in your own words in a concise form before developing each answer plan. That's exactly what you can see here. So we have reiterated each requirement in a concise manner so that you understand how to do it, so that you stand a chance to replicate the same methodology when conducting your preparations. And on top of that, these are the answer plans which I was talking about. So rather than going through pages and pages of suggested answers, you can easily understand how to structure your answers, the logic behind each answer. You can easily understand how to work on your application skills, what type of information should be brought in with regards to your theoretical knowledge, and what type of relevant pre-seen information should be brought in when developing your answers. So when you go through this set of answer plans, it makes your life easy. You just need to replicate the same methodology. So after receiving tutor feedback, I expect you guys to redevelop answer plans. And after redeveloping answer plans, compare your fresh answer plans to the answer plans which we have shared with you to understand what your shortcomings are. And then you can work towards overcoming them, because the marker is concerned about the quality of your answer. This is the best type of resources you can gain access to with the intention of significantly improving the quality of your answers. and you will also gain access to 15 master classes. So in each of our mock exams, there are 3 tasks, just like in your real exam. So 3 tasks into 5 mocks come up to 15 tasks in total. So focused on each task, we have developed a masterclass, and via these masterclasses, whilst taking you through the logic of each answer, we are teaching you theory and application skills. And as I mentioned earlier, we have made sure to cover the entire syllabus when developing these 5 mock exams. So if you watch these master classes, it's as if you are learning the entire syllabus within a short period of time. And once you have access to all these material, you can achieve a guaranteed pass. So that's exactly why we are providing a pass guarantee for the premium package. However, in order to claim the pass guarantee, you have to fulfill these 3 requirements. So you have to complete all 5 mock exams. If not, you are testing your luck at your real exam. You have to make sure that you are conversant with how each syllabus area is tested at your real examination. So in order to claim the pass guarantee, you have to complete all 5 mocks, and your solutions need to be original. So when attempting each of the mock exams, I do not want you guys to go through the suggested answers, the answer plans, or the master classes. Try to do it on your own. Try to give your best shot. Then you stand a chance of understanding what your shortcomings are. Especially when attempting mocks 3, 4, and 5, do not refer to any of the answer plans, the suggested answers, or the master classes. Do it on your own. It's best that you understand your shortcomings, especially given the fact that you are receiving tutor feedback for mocks 3, 4, and 5. And you have to meet the performance criteria when attempting the last 3 mocks 3, 4, and 5. You need to gain 40% or higher. Why have we come up with such a performance criteria? With the intention of ensuring that you are serious when it comes to attempting the last 3 mocks, especially given the fact that we are providing tutor feedback. So it's best that you really understand the shortcomings. If so, you stand a chance to get rid of these shortcomings and significantly improve the quality of your answers. So once you have access to all these type of material, once you have fulfilled these 3 requirements, there's absolutely no way that you would fail your exam. That's why we are providing a pass guarantee. So if you invest on the premium package and if you end up failing the exam, you will gain access to the premium package in your subsequent sitting free of charge. Okay, so the price of the package is £849. You have the option of paying it in 2 installments of £424 each, or you can opt to pay in full and save £100. If so, the price of the package is just £749. So you can click on either of these buttons and invest on your chosen package. And let me quickly remind you about the SCS study plan, which can be accessed via the website itself. So according to the study plan, we are in week number 3. So within this week, you are expected to, complete attempting mock number 2. So within this week, you are expected to attempt mock number 2 via the exam platform. As I mentioned earlier, 2 of the students have already completed this because these 2 students completed mock number 2 yesterday. So congratulations, you are sticking to the study plan. I hope the others will stick to the study plan as well. And within the upcoming week, after you have attempted mock 2, you are supposed to watch the 3 master classes so that you learn theory and improve application skills. Then refer to the answer plans, and you can also focus on redeveloping answer plans with the intention of further improving your answering technique. Okay, so that's what we offer at TCS. I hope you'd start your preparations and stick to our study plan and start attempting mock exams, because that's what your CIMA examiner is asking you to do. All right, so having said that, we are moving on to the second part of today's webinar. Before we move ahead, if you have any questions, you can raise these concerns now. I'm going to pause the recording. All right, folks. So thank you very much for those questions. I hope I addressed everything. Another question had come through. John, I will address it during the Q&A session. So please bear with me. Okay, so I'm moving on to the second part of today's webinar, which is about, sharing some tips which will help you develop a positive mindset before you walk into your exam. So before the exam, how are you expected to develop a high level of confidence? So the best way to improve your confidence is to stick to the study plan. I've explained the study plan in webinar number 1. If you missed out on it, please go watch the recorded version, and you can refer to the study plan which appears within our website as well. 5 minutes back, I showed you what our study plan looks like and what we're expected to fulfill within the upcoming week. So if you stick to the study plan, you just need to allocate 7 hours of study time per week. So if so, you will be conducting preparations in a relaxed atmosphere. So when you are relaxed, it's going to be extremely beneficial for you. Why? Because it's going to positively impact your confidence levels. So when all the other students are going through extreme levels of stress, you, on the other hand, you will be relaxing on a weekly basis because you just need to allocate 7 hours of study time per week. So out of these 7 hours, you are simply supposed to allocate 3 hours to attempt the mock exam via the exam platform. Then the remaining 4 hours should be allocated towards revision. So if you invest on the premium package, you simply need to watch the master classes and focus on redeveloping answer plans. And if you had invested on the value pack, based on the suggested answers, you are expected to develop your answer plans on your own. So you just need to allocate 7 hours of study time per week. If so, it's going to be extremely beneficial for you because your confidence will be extremely high closer to the exam. And it's best to stick to a routine in the upcoming weeks leading up to your examination. So it's better to wake up and sleep at a predetermined time. If you cannot achieve this, focus on your daily meal intake. Consume your breakfast, lunch, and dinner at predetermined times as well. If so, you will fall asleep at a stipulated time and you will have the capability of waking up at a stipulated time. It's best to stick to a routine to function properly in order to be physically and mentally fit. So at least in the upcoming 4 weeks, try to stick to a routine so that you would be successful at your SCS exam. And when practicing mock exams, in order to improve your skill set and develop confidence, practice under simulated exam conditions. That's exactly what your examiner wants you to do. Use our exam platform when attempting each of the 5 mock exams, and when attempting mocks, do it in isolation because that's exactly what you'd do at your real exam. And when attempting each of your mock exams, stick to the exam technique routine, however hard it is. So you, according to this exam routine, you are supposed to allocate 5 minutes to read through the scenario. You are supposed to allocate 25 to 30 minutes to develop the answer plan, and the remaining time, which could be 25 or 30 minutes, should be allocated towards expanding your answer plans. So it's not going to be easy when you are attempting this technique for the first time, but if you keep at it, if you keep practicing it across the 5 mocks, you will be practicing answering techniques 15 times over. That's enough practice for you to champion it at your real exam. So in order to be confident, you need to build your skill set. So the best way to improve your skill set is by sticking to a study plan, sticking to a routine, and sticking to the answering and time management techniques when attempting each of your mock exam. So if you do these things on a weekly basis, you'd see an improvement in your performance. And when your performance improves, so would your level of confidence. And when attempting mock exams, you will definitely be exposed to exam stress. That's the objective of ensuring that you have the capability to attempt each mock exam under exam conditions. So rather than facing exam stress at your real exam and being clueless about how to manage exam stress, it's best to encounter exam stress when conducting your preparations, when attempting each of your mock exams. If so, you will know what to do to overcome these type of inefficiencies when conducting your preparations. So again, with the intention of managing exam stress, you have to make up your mind to stick to the answering technique. And when developing each answer, always think that you are the senior finance manager of Saefwell. If you internalize this designation or this role, then it becomes easy for you to come up with the best type of answers. Because if you're actually working within Saefwell as a senior finance manager, You will try to come up with the best type of suggestions. You try to develop the best type of evaluations and provide the best type of recommendations. If not, one fine day, you will lose your job. So in order to keep your job and in order to make sure that you excel in your career, you need to ensure that you come up with your suggestions or your evaluations considering what's highlighted within each scenario, and you have to utilize your theoretical knowledge with the intention of coming up with the best type of answer. So that's exactly why it's best that you think that you are the SFM of your chosen company, and when attempting each of your mock exams, stick to the exam technique routine. And although you are doing all these things, you will definitely experience stress when attempting each of your mock exams. So when you're experiencing stress, it leads to panic, and panic leads to brain freeze. So why does this happen? So our brain is divided into several parts. So when attempting each mock exam and when developing answers, you are expected to utilize your prefrontal cortex, because human beings utilize their prefrontal cortex when they are engaged with rational decision making. So as an SFM, you are expected to come up with the most rational of decisions, provide the most rational of evaluations rather than being emotional. So in order to be rational, you have to utilize your prefrontal cortex. However, when you are experiencing extreme levels of stress, your prefrontal cortex will switch off. And there's a small part of our brain which is known as the amygdala. The amygdala starts functioning. So when the amygdala is in play, it gives you the fight or flight response. So you will panic, and you will you will feel negative or some type of negativity at your examination. And because of this negativity, your brain will constantly keep asking you to finish off the exam as fast as possible. So rather than focusing on your answering technique, rather than focusing on coming up with the best type of answers, you will try to come up with rushed answers. So how can you switch off the amygdala? The only way to switch off the amygdala and to ensure that your prefrontal cortex is working once more is to focus on your breathing. So whenever you are experiencing exam stress, close your eyes for 2 minutes and focus on your breathing. Inhale from your nose, exhale from your mouth. So when you are inhaling, focus on the tip of your nose when your breaths, when you are inhaling, and when you are exhaling, focus on the tip of your lips. By focusing on your breathing, you are in a position to switch off the amygdala. If so, again, your prefrontal cortex will come into play. In such an environment, you can again stick to the exam routine. You will overcome your exam stress. So again, you cannot get this right when you are attempting it for the first time. So that's exactly why I want you to practice these techniques when attempting each of your mock exams. If that is the case, whenever you are experiencing pressure or exam stress at your real examination, you know what to do rather than being clueless at your exam. When faced with exam stress, you'd know how to manage these stress levels, because this is a highly practical exam, and because of that, it's a stressful exam as well. This is a highly competitive exam. So the examiner is trying to figure out whether you are fit to become a management accountant. Most individuals who finish CIMA start their own business. So when you start your own business, you'd be exposed to a lot of stress. So you need to have the capability to manage your stress. So if you are not in a position to manage your stress at your exam, you will never pass the SCS exam, because you are not fit to become a management accountant as per the CIMA examiner. Okay, so in order to ensure that you are successful at your exam, you need to practice your answering technique, but that in itself won't help you. You need to overcome your exam stress. So in order to overcome your exam stress, focus on your breathing, close your eyes. You might think that you are wasting 2 minutes of your time. If you are switching off your amygdala, it's as if you are gaining 2 minutes. Okay, so close your eyes whenever you face exam stress. Close your eyes and focus on your breathing for 2 minutes and keep moving forward. And another technique which you can adhere to is, as I mentioned, if you look at the way in which our brains function, as human beings, we are our attention span is just for 45 minutes. So one of your tasks will go up for 60 minutes. Okay. So after the first 60 minutes are done, it's best to, focus on your breathing for 2 minutes, close your eyes and focus on your breathing for 2 minutes before you start with task number 2. So you are spending some time to recalibrate your brain, to relax. And when you are relaxed, you will come up with the best type of answers. And once you are done with task number 2, again, take a break for 2 minutes, focus on your breathing, close your eyes, focus on your breathing, and start moving forward, focused on task number 3. So these are the best practices which you are supposed to practice when attempting each of your mock exams. The intention of developing the mock exams is to ensure that you are conversant with how each syllabus area is tested at your SCS exam, and the intention of ensuring that you have the capability to attempt each mock exam under exam conditions is to ensure that you have the capability to practice the answering and time management techniques. And on top of that, you are exposed to exam stress. It's best to get accustomed to exam stress or experience exam stress before your exam, so that you know how to manage your exam stress. If so, you'll be extremely successful at your SCS exam. So when attempting, as I said, most of the students are done with mock number 1. I did not teach you these things with the intention of ensuring that you really experience these shortcomings. Now you know what to do to overcome each of these shortcomings. So keep practicing them. You can implement them to your real lives as well. Whenever you are facing some type of stress, rather than thinking about it, rather than being negative, rather than letting the amygdala win, focus on your breathing, shut off your amygdala, and ensure that your prefrontal cortex is working without any hiccups. Okay, and in the upcoming 4 weeks, I want you guys to avoid these deflections. Do not go through the exam blueprint, because all elements which are covered within the exam blueprint are covered within the webinars which we have conducted so far. Do not rely on any predictions. I've seen tutors predicting the type of scenarios which can be thrown at you at your real exam. However, you need to understand that the CIMA examiner is trying to replicate a real life corporate environment. So in a real life corporate environment, as an SFM, you cannot predict the type of issues the company is going to face or the type of opportunities the company is trying to exploit. So it's as if you walk into office, open your laptop or your computer, you receive an email from your CFO, and based or considering the information presented, you are supposed to come up with your suggestions. So there's absolutely no point of trying to predict the type of questions which are going to be thrown at you. Instead, focus on the mocks so that you would be conversant with how each syllabus area is tested. You'd know how to work on your application skills. You'd know how to focus on your answering and time management technique. And you'd also know how to manage your exam stress. So when conducting preparations, these are the areas which you should be concerned about. There's absolutely no point of trying to predict the type of questions which will be thrown at you. And excessive industry analysis is a killer. It leads to a wastage of time, because Saefwell is a fictitious company which is operating within the fictitious market or an industry. So there's absolutely no point of conducting your own research concerning the real life dynamics of the security industry. Instead, simply go through the set of industry analysis slides which we have prepared, so that within 10 to 15 minutes you are in a position to understand what happens in a real sense within your chosen industry. And misguided use of past papers should be avoided at all costs, because especially at the SCS exam, your application skills are tested. So when developing your answers, you need to make sure that your answers are totally aligned with the internal and external dynamics of your chosen company, as well as your recommendations make financial sense. So if you rely on past exam variants or past papers, when going through the suggested answers, the logic is based on the internal and external dynamics of a previous pre-scene. So you will not actually understand what's highlighted or the logic behind each and every suggested answer, especially simply given the fact that it's based on different dynamics concerning a different industry, a different company, and a different set of financial statements. So rather than wasting your time, focus on pre-scene specific and exam standard mock exams. And information overload is a killer. I know for a fact that, I've been exposed to this shortcoming as a student as well. Up until the OCS exam, I tried to do everything under the sun when conducting preparations. There's absolutely no point of doing it. Instead, stick to our study plan and, attempt a mock exam per week. If so, you are in a position to manage your exam stress. You are in a position to complete all your tasks or your exercises way before the exam. And as per our study plan, a week before the exam, when all the other students are going through extreme levels of stress, when they are trying to attempt 2 or 3 mock exams within the last week, you are simply relaxing. You are simply referring to the answer plans of the 5 mock exams. You are expected to reread the annotated pre-scene one last time and attend the final Q&A. So when you are just going through the answer plans, the other students are trying to attempt 2 or 3 mock exams. So stick to our study plan, then you would be relaxing. If you walk into your exam with a relaxed attitude, relaxed mindset, if you know how to manage exam stress, you would be extremely successful at your SCS exam. And you might be attempting the exam at home. If so, go to this link. I will share this link via the WhatsApp group as well. So gain access to the Pearson VUE system and get your bearings with the technicalities behind the Pearson VUE system. Okay, so additionally, I'm happy to say that we achieved a pass rate of 94%. Last time's pass rates for SCS was extremely low, but our students were successful, especially given the fact that they stuck to the study plan which we have provided. Because if you stick to it, you are in a position to conduct your preparations in a relaxed environment. So you can, if you are yet to start your preparations, you have to start preparations now. If that is the case, you just need to attempt a mock exam per week. All right, so having said that, it brings us to the Q&A session. So I'm going to pause the recording. All right, folks, thank you very much for raising those questions. I hope I addressed everything. So having said that, I'm going to wind up the session. So if you want to contact us, you can do it via our website, which is www.study@tcs.com. So simply go to our website, click on the contact area. You'll be directed to the get in touch area. So type your message here so that our admin staff can get in touch with you. And you can email us on info@study@tcs.com and WhatsApp us on this number. And I invite you guys to follow us on our social media handles, especially YouTube and TikTok, because the recorded versions of each of these webinars and workshops will be uploaded onto our YouTube channel. And on top of that, via TikTok, you can get your hands on the pre-scene mind map. So we have highlighted the most important points which are mentioned within the pre-scene document. So within just 6 to 7 minutes, you are in a position to revise your understanding about what's highlighted within the pre-scene. So until your examination on a daily basis, keep watching these 3 TikTok videos so that you need not do anything else to memorize what appears within your pre-scene document. So having said that, it brings us to the end of our webinar series conducted in lieu of the upcoming exams happening in May. I hope these sessions have been helpful to you. And if you're yet contemplating on starting your preparations, start right now so that you won't waste time. And on top of that, if you start your preparations right now, you have enough time to attempt all 5 mock exams rather than being exposed to exam stress closer to the exam. And from next week onwards, we are starting our workshop series. I hope you'd attend these workshops without fail as well. So thank you very much. Take care and all the best.